It has started.
All right.
Recording live.
So at 7 o'clock, you can just start the meeting.
Okay.
Hey, Greg.
Yes,
Greg, it's Chris. Want to make sure I'm on.
you are here, Chris.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Chris.
Evening.
Just so you know, we will hear it if somebody cracks a beer open.
So I did it before I called.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and I'm going to ask everyone to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance to the
flag
flag
of the United
Of the
of the United
States
States of America
and
and
to the
to the
republic
republic
for
for
which
which
it
it
stands,
stands,
Nation.
one nation,
under
under God,
Under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. Greg, why don't you go ahead and do roll call, and then I'll make the statement.
All right, we would like to introduce everyone. I will start with myself, Greg Lippincott, manager of West Rockhill Township.
I'm Mary Eberly. I'm also known as Unknown at the top. I'm the
Yeah.
solicitor for the township.
I am
Steve
Jim
Ballard,
Miller.
the township engineer.
I'm
Greg,
Rod Blake, Chief of Police of Penridge Regional Police.
Sherry
I'm Dave.
Beringer, bookkeeper.
I'm Chris Verstein, Planning Commission Chair.
David Collingwood, Board of Supervisors.
Jay Kaiser, Board of Supervisors.
Dave Rice,
Jim
Park and
Miller.
Rec Chair.
Jim Miller, Board of Supervisors.
Scott McMacken with Cowan Associates.
Does that sound like we have everyone? Suzanne.
Andy DeGucci of Deerstein Millhaven.
Yeah, hi, Andy. I spoke over you. And I think Suzanne Clark just joined, correct?
Yep, it says Suzanne joined.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, we're going to get started. I have a statement I want to read first. This is Jim Miller. Good evening. Tonight, because of the danger in meeting in group, we're holding our first online meeting. This is new territory for all of us, and we ask for your patience as we work through the glitches we will experience. One of the challenges we faced in deciding on this format for the meeting was handling public comment. We wanted to be transparent and inclusive as possible as we invite people to submit. So we invited people to submit public comment by telephone or email prior to the meeting. You can still submit public comment by email to glippincott@westrockhilltownship.org. We will take public comment emails until the end of the meeting, and we will read the public comment prior to the vote or at the end of the meeting, depending on which is appropriate. For board members, committee members, consultants, and applicants who are participating in the meeting, there have to be strict rules of conduct if this type of meeting is to work. It will be impossible to keep background noise out of the meeting unless you all mute your phones and devices until it's your turn to speak. The background noise from multiple households will make it impossible for others to hear the meeting unless you mute your devices. It is absolutely necessary that you do not speak unless recognized by the chair. When it is time to vote, I will ask Jay and David for their comments. Then I will ask Greg to read any public comments we've received on the issue. When we're reviewing plans and giving reports, once the chair recognizes someone and that person starts speaking, everyone else must remain quiet until the speaker is finished. Please do not interrupt the speaker If you fail to follow the guidelines, we will mute you so that you're unable, so we can keep order. We are recording this meeting, and after the meeting, Greg will post the recording of this meeting on the township's YouTube channel. You can find the link to the recording on the website. We will probably be using this format for the next couple of months, or meetings, which would be months. And hopefully each meeting will seem easier than the last. But for now, thank you, and we appreciate your cooperation. Let's start with business. Are there any public comments on the agenda items? Greg, have you received any?
I have not received any as of yet.
Okay. Hearing none, I will move on. We do plan to have an executive session for legal matters after this meeting. Moving on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of the February 19th meeting minutes, the WIN plan review status, escrow release and vouchers, emergency service report, building zoning and building permit report, public works report, conservation committee report, treasurer's report, payment of bills, historical society fence request for James House. In addition to that, it's been requested by attendees that we also read the fund balances. So Greg, you want to do that?
Sorry, I had to unmute my mic. Okay, the treasurer's report for February 29th, 2020. The general fund, $640,225.26. Highway aid, $20,288.65. Open space, $987,090.02. The park fund, $17,891.75. The equipment fund, $238.58. Highway capital, $128.98. Street light, $33,018.43. The reserve fund, general fund reserve, $371,129.94. Open space Marenderfield, $51,178.04. Sewage maintenance fund, $177,598.90. Stormwater fund, $6,784.66. The escrow funds, $395,168.53.
Okay, Jay and David, when you make a motion or second it, I would appreciate it if you say your name so Sherry can write it down. So could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
David Collingwood, I will make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Yes, Jay Kaiser, I will second that motion.
Okay, are there any comments or questions about the consent agenda? Do you have anything, Greg?
I do not see any. I refresh my email each time to see if anything came in. So
Okay,
not
great.
at this time.
Then I will make, we have a motion, a second. All in favor of approving the consent agenda? Aye.
All right.
Thank you. Confirmed appointments, we have none tonight, so we'll move on to committee reports. The Planning Commission report, Chris Durstein.
All right, Planning Commission met for the first time of the year last week. Our first order of business was the reorganization of our committee. We elected to keep the same configuration as a previous year. Pardon me. So I am your chairman, Alex Almer is the vice chairman, and Tim Ruth the secretary. Our first applicant was Fresco. They are looking to do some additions on two of their buildings and a loading dock on another, loading dock expansion on another building. They're also looking to expand a parking area, and they had put a plan for put a future warehouse expansion on their plan, just an area where they want to do that. They had a handful of waiver requests, some of which were pretty simple. A couple of them we have to have more discussion on. So they were in with a sketch. They will be in either next month or the following month, depending on how they come along and how our situation works out with planning commission meetings. So that was Fresco. Do you guys have any questions on that?
No, I have no questions, but Chris, you may want to consider next month using this format. And Greg can help.
I'm assuming that's what we're gonna have to do.
Yeah. Okay. This all started after your meeting. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Continue.
Okay. Next applicant was DLAP. They are actually Clark's Landscaping. They bought. I'm assuming that they purchased what was the NACE business on Meeting House Road, next to like Kunstler Manufacturing. They're on Meeting House Road. 3.5 acre lot. They want to expand their parking lot and put a small addition on. They're coming in with a contractor service use. There was no major issues with the plan. They came in with an informal, pre-submission sketch plan. So they'll be back. We gave them some guidance to what they need to come back with, and I think it will be pretty simple plan to get through. So that was DLAP. The next order of business was filling the planning commission vacancy. We interviewed 4 candidates. They were Tony Bogner, Kevin Dietz, Stephen Natale, and John Squareda. After their interviews, we conducted a paper ballot, and I should mention Alex Almer wasn't at our meeting, so it was paper ballot with the 3 of us that were at the meeting. It was myself, Tim Ruth, and Andy Yencha, and it was unanimous to recommend John Squareda as the appointment to the planning commission. So that will be in your court. Hopefully you agree with us on that.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you guys choose to vote on that tonight, or if that's something for the next meeting, but I'll leave that to you. So before you do anything there, let me finish up my report.
Yes, that's what I was waiting for.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
One other item of old business. Now that we're moving forward with the appointment of, to fill the vacancy, we would like to continue conversation about the alternate position, and that all members of the planning commission are on board for following through with the coming up with an alternate, and the criteria. I believe if we're going to move forward, the first thing we need to do is set up the criteria for that position. So again, I think we need your input. We need probably input from Mary on this as well to move forward.
Okay.
And that was my report.
Okay. Before there are other comments around Chris's report, I'd like to make a motion that that we move forward with adding John Smurdock to the Planning Commission. Do I have a motion from one of the other supervisors?
I'll make a motion that we accept their recommendation. Jay Kaiser.
Okay. Do I have a second?
David Collingwood here. I attended the Planning Commission meeting, and I was there for the interviews of all the candidates, and I think they're all qualified. But I think at this point, we need to accept the recommendation of the Planning Commission. So I will make a second to Jay's motion.
Okay. Are there any other comments? Okay, seeing none, I will ask all in favor? Aye. Nays? And it passes. Thank you.
Yes.
Are there any other comments on Chris's report?
I have one, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to proceed forward with with whatever we need to take regarding Mary's input or Greg's for the alternate position, so that we don't forget about that.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that, Jay. We'll let Chris and Mary work through that, and maybe at the next meeting they'll have more information for us.
Okay, thank you.
Is that okay with everyone?
That works for me.
Yes, and Chris, if you have a specific question, let me know.
I will, thank you.
Okay.
So that isn't my report, and I would like to add one thing, adding on to David's comments about the candidates. Everyone could have brought something to the table, and they, certainly, we made sure we thanked them for their efforts and encouraged their continued support of the township. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew that.
Great. Thank you, Chris.
All right, that's my report.
Okay. And I will make a motion to accept Chris's report. This is Jim Miller. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. Jay Kaiser.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Park and Rec report. Dave Rice.
All right, here we go. Park and Rec. Hopefully, this coronavirus is going to be gone sooner than the word is. But we have a fishing derby coming up, so we're going to we tabled it for the Board of Supervisors meeting to see what the direction of the township, the state, the county, everybody decides as far as park use and everything of that nature. That would be on April 18th, so that's coming within a month. We also have Movie in the Park coming August 15th. That's far enough out. We hopefully should be clear for all planning of that. September Fest will be September 27th. We're going to continue to plan for both of those events, actually all three of those events so far. We're going to continue to plan for them, just kind of play it by ear with the fishing derby, because we have pretty much for the probably another week to touch base. And like I say, we'll wait for the Board of Supervisors, the county, the state, all their input as far as what we do. And we also have the Veterans Memorial dedication, which is going to be November 8th. So I would request if everybody could put that on their calendar. It's going to be a big event. Hopefully we can have as many possible people there and then enjoy and recognize all the veterans of the township. I think it'll be a great day. Hopefully get out there and support our veterans. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you.
The veterans plaque, we're moving forward with the final proofing. Sorry about that.
Okay, great. Hey, we will address the park and other issues down in the coronavirus update.
Okay, I kind of figured that. That's why I kind of left it out there. We just tabled it, and that's kind of what we were thinking.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Are there any questions for the Park and Rec? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion to approve Park and Rec report.
David Collingwood, I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it. Jay Kaiser.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Police report, Chief Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to give everybody an update on what's going on in the department right now with COVID-19. We continue to meet with emergency management coordination in Bucks County. Last Friday, the chiefs of police in Bucks County met and we signed a MOU agreement that listed every police department in Bucks County. Should the need arise, that we would have a mutual aid agreement with each department. I let my guys know that the possibility that they could come into work and have to be stationed in Bensalem, for example, or Hilltown Township for the day, in case those departments see a need for increased presence of patrol, or if they, have been affected by this virus and, are down personnel. Likewise, that same mutual aid agreement works with our department also. So far, everybody in the department's healthy. Our lobby is closed. However, the blue phone outside remains open. Was placed on our Facebook and Twitter account, and on Crime Watch that should anybody need an officer and they come to the station, they can simply use the blue phone outside, and that'll dispatch an officer back to the station. We are continuing to monitor our 6-foot, interviewing position with personnel, and 911 still in service, and the non-emergency for your home is still in service. Unfortunately, we still are getting calls for other police-related matters. That does not stop, but our officers are being very cautious, and we have different patrol protocols in place when dealing with this situation. So that's just the current update. I do have my police report, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to read, if that's okay.
Yes. Yes.
The following information lists the monthly activities for the Penn Regional Police Department for the month of February 2020. The department responded to 442 calls for service. Of those, 217 were in East Rockhill and 225 were in West Rockhill. We handled 25 traffic crashes, 13 crashes in East Rockhill and 12 in West Rockhill. We responded to 31 crimes, 8 Part 1 crimes and 23 Part 2 crimes. In East Rockhill, the crimes are reported: sexual assault, sex offense against a minor, criminal mischief, possession of marijuana, 2 DUI cases, 2 disorderly conduct cases, 1 harassment, 1 unauthorized use of auto, 1 fraud, 1 assault, 1 ordinance violation, and 3 dog law violations. In West Rockhill, we had 4 theft cases, an assault, a fraud, 2 DUI cases, 2 harassment cases, 1 disorderly conduct, 3 criminal mischief cases, and 1 dog law violation. The arrests for February include a terroristic threat, 3 arrests for simple assault, 1 possession of marijuana, 1 possession of methamphetamine, 1 possession of drug paraphernalia, 5 drunk DUI charges, 1 disorderly conduct, and 2 harassment charges. And the Upper Bucks Motor Carrier Safety Enforcement Team was out, and we issued 15 inspections, 20 violations, and 3 out-of-service violations, and 1 commercial vehicle was weighed. I'd just like to make a note, Mr. Chairman, that we did suspend our activity with the Upper Bucks Motor Carrier Safety Enforcement Team. They would have been out yesterday. However, we're limiting our public contact with that type of enforcement as of right now.
Very good.
And that is the police report, Mr. Chairman.
Are there any comments or questions? I have one. I was away on vacation last week, and Chief, I want to thank you and your officers for doing the house checks. It's a great service you provide, and I just want to again say to folks that if you're away and you let the police know, they do come by, they walk around your property, they check everything for you, and they'll call you if they find anything wrong. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Along that same line, I went through 6 airports and was among, in St. Thomas, there must have been a total of about 10 cruise ships come through. So I have self-quarantined myself along with my family until 14 days are up. So that's one of the reasons I'm sitting in my house right now. It's a terrible thing what's going on, and we have to contain it as much as we can. So we're trying to do our part. We got back in the country, or I shouldn't say back in the country, got back into Pennsylvania and immediately came home. So that's all I had to say about this virus right now. I will
David Collingwood, Jim, David Collingwood, I have a question for the chief.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the reason for the electronic sign at Ridge and Old 309 up at Comcast?
They're going to do some configuration of the roadway further into Percy, and so they're going to limit traffic to 1 lane.
Okay.
There, it's going to be controlled by a traffic signal, an additional temporary traffic signal.
Got it.
If I could interject, this is Steve. That was road work that's being done in conjunction with the Penn Ridge Airport Business Park. But I was advised today that PennDOT has required all permit work to stop on state roads, so that detour or temporary traffic pattern will be delayed.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
Does anyone have anything else for the chief? Okay.
There was no public comment.
David Calling would make a motion to accept the police report.
Okay.
Jay-
Do I have a
Jay
second?
Kaiser.
Okay.
Yep.
And Greg, was there public comment? I think you said no.
There was no public comment.
Okay. Then all in favor of accepting the report? Aye.
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 It's a majority, so it passes. Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
The Joint Rec Authority, we had a very quick meeting. We're just getting ready now to gear up, and we're waiting to see what's going to happen this summer. If everybody's still locked in their house, we might not be doing too much work at the pool. So we're still moving forward with plans, but I really have nothing new to report tonight. So I should have put it up on the consent agenda. So there's nothing to approve. Tax collectors report, Suzanne Clark.
Suzanne?
Is she muted?
I don't know. I can read her report.
Oh, okay.
Township monthly records for March collected $47,201.46. For 2019 interims, $67.77, and the street light tax $323.70.
Thus ends Suzanne's report. Okay. Any questions about Suzanne's report? Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the tax collector's report. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. Jay Kaiser.
Okay, Jay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do I hear David? Did we lose David?
I'm here. David Collingwood, aye.
Aye, okay. All right. And
Sorry,
it
I was muted. I was muted. I'm sorry.
okay, that's okay. That's what you should have been. Engineers report, Steve Ball.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you see, we had 3 items on our agenda. The first is the Durstein-Millhoffen project. If you recall, a few months back, we granted the preliminary final approval to that project, and they have a request to modify that approval. So Scott McMacken is here on behalf of Mr. DeGrucci, and he may be able to explain it a little further.
Hi, thank you, Steve. Yeah, Steve mentioned this project was approved by the board last summer. As part of that project, we did include to essentially phase the project, since it's a fairly large project for Andy to undertake, and what we're trying to do is enable Andy to develop this project in phases. And so as part of that original approval back in the summer, there were some phasing plans that were part of the land development set. What we're asking for the board tonight is to also phase the escrow that Andy would need to post to be able to develop the site in phases. So there were 3 phases, and what we're asking for the board tonight, I think it was Andy's intent to do that, but we essentially missed the request originally. But we're requesting from the board this evening to basically marry the escrow to the phase plans that were approved previously, so that the phase 1 portion of the development, we would be requesting to post that escrow just for the phase 1 improvements, and then when phase 1 is finished, essentially move on to the phase 2 and phase 3. So Andy's anticipating this to take several years to fully develop. So we're hoping to be able to kind of spread out the escrow so he doesn't have all the money tied up, for the several years that it's going to take to develop the project.
Okay.
And in addition to that, if it would be considered, I believe there was a provision in the original approval that the bridge to come off of Keystone would need to be done within 3 years of the approval. Given what's happening, and Andy gets a lot of product for his business from overseas, and with some of the things that are going on, he would be asking if we could extend that from 3 to 4 years to be able to construct a bridge off of Keystone as well.
Any comments, Steve?
Well, my only comment is, one, I'll agree with what Scott said. We did discuss the different stages of construction. It didn't end up as a record plan item and in the approval for phases. The only other thing, I don't, we established a time frame for that bridge just so it did happen in relatively short term, not that we waited forever for it, but we might have to consider that in how we escrow for that bridge if we have a time frame established for it. But in general, I think what would be required for the board at this meeting is just to, if you're in agreement, to authorize the solicitor to prepare a resolution for next month's meeting, which revises the original plan approval.
Okay.
And would it revise the original plan approval? There's two issues. One, they got approval and it talks about different, I believe the word they used then was stages. The municipality's planning code talks in terms of phases, and those phases, one, have to be shown on the record plan, and two, have to be reviewed by the township engineer to make sure that all of the items necessary for each phase are included, so that there is sufficient stormwater to handle the development as it takes place. So they would need to submit phasing record plans to Steve for review. That's one issue. The issue of the extension of the time for the bridge, that's another issue that the board has to rule on specifically.
Yeah, I think, Mary, and Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. I think what we could do, when we went and called them essentially the stages as part of the plan set, we did review all of those issues, and essentially all the stormwater management components of the project are going in phase one. But if it makes sense, what I could just do is simply relabel those stage plans. I think they're at the end of the plan set, and basically bring them to the front and add them as record plans. So we'll have the overall record plan, and they can take the three plans that are already in the set and just basically convert them into record plans and put signature blocks on them.
Scott, this is Steve. I think we could work something like that out. And in general, yes, I agree. We went through specifics of what improvements should be included in what stage of construction last year, and I'm comfortable that the phases are appropriately set up.
So that leaves the board to decide the issue of the construction of the bridge.
Well,
May I
I think. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I just want to say, in regards to the circumstances that we're experiencing right now, I personally do not have an issue with with moving the bridge out to 4 years instead of the 3 years. That's my opinion.
Those were the exact words I was going to say too. So, David, do you have any comment on that?
No, I totally agree. What with the issues we're having with the state right now and PennDOT and everything else, I think it makes sense.
All right. So how about if one of you makes a motion to move the date out to 4 years?
Or
I'll make that
all
motion.
you have
David
to do is
Collingwood.
make a motion to, or not even make a motion, just direct me to prepare a resolution, and then you'll formally vote it on at the next meeting.
Okay, then we'll make a motion to prepare a resolution. Whoever was, which one? David, was that you?
Yeah.
That was David, yes.
Okay. You want to make that motion then?
And I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye, David.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Then the next item under my report is the A&T Subaru maintenance period completion. That's on the agenda to report to you that they have completed their maintenance period. I did inspect the site. Everything looks generally okay. The only caveat to that is a few weeks ago when I inspected it, it was still early, so all the plantings weren't budded out. So what I discussed with Greg was we would ask A&T Subaru to hold their cash escrow until spring when we see that all the plantings are still in good shape, but all the other improvements are fine.
Okay. Do we need to take any action on that tonight?
I think you just need to acknowledge it.
Okay. We acknowledge.
And
I acknowledge.
the last item, I believe in your packets, Greg has the road list for road paving this year. Do you have that, Greg, to put up? You should have in your packets. We reviewed the roads from the budget item that we had provided at the end of last year and came up with the current list. I'll read them off since I don't see them here. So for overlay paving, we have Sterner's Road and Old State Road. For oil and chip, we have Farmers Lane, Almont Road, Holiday House Road, and Forest Road. That's what we had in the primary, what we're proposing for the primary contract. And then we offered an alternate to add Catch Basin Road to oil and chip and to paint center lines on Thousand Acre Road, Farmers Lane, and Forest Road.
Okay. David and Jay, do you have any comments on that?
I only have one comment, and we discussed it briefly last month. I suggested, or I should say Greg suggested, but I support adding the extra money that we had gotten back from the police commission to put towards. So I just wonder, I don't know if that'll do anything to this, or if we just picked something else that we had that we couldn't finish and put that to the road. I'm on board and support the list has been read.
Okay. I'm in support of the total list that Steve read off. And I think we can work that the additional additional fund money, Jay, through Greg.
Okay.
So do I hear a motion to approve the complete list that Steve just read off?
I will make that motion, Jay Kaiser.
Okay, do I have a second?
David Collingwood will second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And I guess I should take that as an authorization to advertise for bids for next month.
Yes.
We will
I
do
should
that.
have said it that way, sorry. Okay.
No problem. And actually, I anticipate that these prices might come in even better than expected because the oil prices are down, and that reflects in the blacktop price.
And in which case, Jay, we could look at even more roads probably.
I could talk to Greg and the crew and see if we can add another alternate road on, see where the numbers end up.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's
All right.
all I have, unless there's another question. Any other questions?
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the engineer's report?
I'll make the motion, Jay Kaiser.
Second.
David Collingwood will second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Solicitor's report?
I have no report this evening, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you. Township manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first thing is a barn update, the James Barn. I reached out to 3 contractors. So far, I've only gotten 1 quote back. The quote to replace the roof with steel is $16,571. There is an alternate for it also to do both gable ends for an additional $5,154. That's included in your packets. I'm not saying to consider it yet because I'm still waiting for 2 more quotes.
Okay. Then we should table this until you get the other quotes.
Correct.
All right. Thank you.
The next item is the coronavirus update. I just wanted to let everyone know that West Rockhill Township is cloud-based. Our server's in the cloud. So the township staff can work from anywhere. We can work from home. We can work at the township. We can work anywhere. We urge people to communicate by postal mail, email, fax, and phone. Right now, applications will only be accepted via postal or electronic email. The township does not take electric payment at this time, so you'll have to mail a check into the township. The township has set up 2 voice lines to ring our computers when we are at work. if any reason we have to close the building or one of us is not feeling well, there is 2 direct lines for myself and Sherry, and you can always call 215-257-9063. We can access that from home, but it just wouldn't be as immediate. So in case we ever have to close the township building, we are still able to operate.
All right, I'd like to make some comments about the coronavirus also. We are in a situation right now. I'm going to ask people to please mute their phones. We're in a situation right now where much of we've been told to more or less stay in place, don't go out in public. A lot of the stores are closing, restaurants have closed. It's a very bad situation, and many of the other communities have already started closing things. We've closed our township buildings. Some have been closing their parks and a lot of other stuff. I think in the interest of safety, I think we should be closing our parks for the next 60 days in an emergency situation. By doing that, we can protect children that would normally be going on the playground and might be touching the equipment and everything else. Mary, I think we need to do this, first of all, by making an emergency declaration. Is that true?
You can close your parks without adopting the declaration resolution first, but it would be all be part of the same thing. So if you wanted to move forward with a declaration of disaster emergency, you could do that first.
Okay. Then I will ask the other 2 supervisors their opinion on making a emergency declaration.
David Collingwood here. I totally agree, especially in light of what's going on. The James Park, I was going to suggest a 30-day rolling evaluation of that park, but you're suggesting 60 days. I'm all right with that as well.
Jay?
I'm a little cautious on that because I am in the industry. We are working, and the government did not shut people down from working in society other than some government businesses and stuff. Yes, there are restaurants that are closed, but the world isn't stopping. People continue to have to work in jobs and stuff that are needed. So I do think that the park is something that you can close, but I would only support closing it 30 days at a time, and we reevaluate this at our next meeting.
Okay.
I realize you have David on board with what you want to do.
Well, no, it's an open conversation, Jay.
Okay.
I mean, David suggested a 30-day rolling, and you're suggesting a 30-day.
I would like to stay 30 days if we could, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future here, in the near future, and we can always say we close it for another 30 days or after that. So I would support what David recommended.
I'm good with that, Jay. David Collingwood here. I would go with the 60-day, but I'm good with the 30 as well.
I think if we close it for 30 days at a time, we can do that. So let's make a motion right now that we're going to be closing our park system for 30 days, and we will reevaluate it at our next meeting.
I'll make that motion, David Collingwood.
Okay. Do I have a second? I'll make a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I didn't hear from you, Jay.
Yeah, you did. I said aye.
Oh, okay. I must have spoke over you. Okay. Now, the emergency declaration, I believe, just gives Greg the authority to make changes as necessary. Is that correct, Mary?
Actually, the emergency disaster declaration is part of the Emergency Management Services Act. And once you adopt the declaration resolution, which would keep the emergency in effect for 60 days unless you terminated it sooner, gives you the ability to contract for services related to the emergency without the necessity of bidding or getting prices or following the technical details of the law. It also makes you eligible for funding if any is made available from the state. and it allows you to enter into mutual aid agreements without any advertisement or the necessary protocols under the Intergovernmental Cooperation Act. So staff is recommending that you do that.
Okay. In that case, David or Jay, do you have any other comments? I think this gives us a lot more leeway to handle issues as they arise.
David has no comment.
I would make a motion to approve it. This is Jim Miller. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
David will make a second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion passes. Do we have anything else for your report?
Is there any public comment?
Yes. Well, we have one
I'm
more
sorry.
thing about the fishing derby, which would be April 18th, and the fish would have to arrive April 16th.
So that would be closed.
So is the board want to cancel that?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. Yes, I'm in favor of canceling it. Shouldn't say I'm in favor. I think we need to.
Okay. That sounds good.
Not
good, but thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we need to vote on that though. So
yes.
Could I do it? I'd like some other conversations from or hear comments from Jay or David on this.
Well, David here. We have gone out to the community. We've solicited money. We have money for the fish. We've ordered the fish, but we know that we will not take any kind of financial hit because we don't pay them until the truck arrives on the 16th, which is a Thursday. So by canceling the fishing derby, we're not going to take any kind of financial hit, and I think it's the right thing to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, I hate to cancel the fishing derby, but it is recommended that we don't have gatherings of more than 50 people together in an area like this. And realistically, there'll be another time. This is not the end of it. I will recommend though and say if we do cancel it, please let's do not reschedule for the fall. If you all remember what happened to us the last time that we lost all the fish.
Yeah, that was bad.
Too hot.
Yeah.
If we're gonna cancel it, let's cancel it and then regroup for next year.
Okay.
This is Dave Rice. Sorry, Dave. Can I jump in there real quick? This is Dave Rice. Quick question. As far as the funds that were gathered, what is the Board of Supervisors recommendation for those funds? To hold them till next year and let the sponsors know that we will be, obviously it's an emergency scenario, so it's kind of, everybody knows about it. So I just want to know, kind of get the board's approval of how we present it and how we respond.
I think we should get a hold of all those contributors.
Okay.
And ask them, tell them the situation, maybe in an email or I'm sorry, mail, like the original mailing, and just give them the option. I mean, if they would prefer to get their money back or if they prefer to leave it for next year, I mean, that would be my opinion.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak?
Yes.
Okay. My opinion would be the same as yours. I think that the manager of the township should call the contributors and ask them if they would rather have their money returned or keep it for next year's fishing derby.
Yeah. I agree with that too, Jay. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, David Collingwood. I agree. I think logistically it's going to be difficult. I mean, we can do it to cut all those checks to send that money back, and I think given the state of the world right now, I think most businesses would agree to just let us hold that money until next year. So I would suggest that the manager do contact those that have made a contribution and ask them what they'd like to have done with it.
Okay. Then I will.
May I ask a question?
Yeah. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, how are you? As far as the park being closed, how are you going to enforce it? And do you want me to put up on the park sign, park closed, effective from, 30 days from today, tomorrow? What's your timing on that?
Park closed until further notice. If it's
do you want me
closed
to,
until further notice, that would be fine.
and I have your
and-
permission to post that, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
I have permission to post that up on the sign?
We'll take a vote on it. But along with that, we'll be putting barricades up at the entrance to the park to keep people out. And we really don't have any foot traffic into our park, so very little.
Today, that park was full. There must have been 40 cars in there. We had a baseball game today playing, and there were many people walking the trails. So just to let you know, it was crowded today.
And people shouldn't be doing that because they're gathering in groups. So
I agree. I was shocked that there was a baseball game there today.
yeah, me too.
So am I.
Yeah, you should be. That was a team.
Who was it?
I don't know. It's just a team. They had uniforms on and everything.
You should look into that, David.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm curious. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So how about if I will put forth a motion. I will make a motion to close the park for a minimum of 30 days. Suzanne will put up a notice on the sign saying the park is closed until further notice. The township will put barricades at the entrance and exit of the park. And do I have a second for that?
Jay, can I?
Okay, Jay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. All right. Is there anything else to discuss on the coronavirus or any other issues with the township manager's report? Okay, then I will make a motion, or I will ask for a motion to approve the township manager's report.
I'll make that motion. Jay
Thank you.
Kaiser.
Thank you, Jay. Do I have a second?
David Collingwood will second.
Thank you, David. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Old business. Jay, David?
I have
I
got
did.
one thing, Chairman.
Yep.
If I may.
Yep.
I would like to just say, for those who will be listening to this, I'd like to recommend we table the discussion of the Airbnbs until we can have a public meeting.
I would completely agree with you, Jay. In fact, I had a phone call from somebody today that asked if we would be talking about it, and I said, I hope not, because this is not the forum for us to get together and talk about that. That has to be a good public meeting. I agree.
Thank you.
Okay. And David, unless you have a different opinion.
No, I'm fine with that. But I do have something I want to talk about under old business.
Okay, go ahead.
In the February meeting, there was a discussion from Park and Rec about the use of the park, and I just want to be cautious of how we move forward with this. The Little League signed an agreement with the township in 1995, in March of 1995, and the Little League had first priority for the fields after 4 o'clock on weeknights and until noon on Saturday. And I just think that any other use of the park by any groups, whether it be for a pavilion or the ball field outside of the Little League, I think they need to follow any policies that are already in place, whether for fees or for approval through the manager of the township. And I just want to reiterate that I think that's the policy, and I think that's what we need to follow.
I would agree, and in fact, I think we need to take a good look at that. We do have a thing in, we do have a contract in place with the Little League, but we don't with anyone else. So I think that's something we need to take a good look at. Anyway, okay. Under old business, I did have one thing I wanted to talk about. Back in January, we started implementing a lot of changes to the building. One of them was putting in a video and audio system and making ways that we can audio tape and videotape meetings and report them back to you through YouTube and all that. It's because of that stuff we put in place that we're able to jump in and use this system tonight. Over the next couple meetings, if depending on how long this goes, this is going to change. I mean, there's a lot of you that are just in here on the phone tonight because you're unable to probably get in on the video portion. And honestly, we can't see your names on there, so I can't say who all's here. But it will be changing. Greg's still looking into an even more advanced system that we might be able to use that would give us live video, and you would all have access via your PC or via your phone. Rod, you're in on your phone, I believe, aren't you? Yeah, so there are ways to get in, and we can see you. You can probably see us, and we can hear you. But there are several people that are just in on the phones, and I apologize for that tonight. But I just wanted to say we are going to move forward, and we're going to make changes. One other thing under old business is the census. The census is coming up quickly. I started getting my information. I would really encourage everyone to take that information as soon as you get it and start filling out the census form online and just get it out of the way. It's extremely important for the township, the county, and for our state to get that money that's due us. And the final thing is voting. I've already put in for my write-in ballot, and I've talked to many other people that have. We don't know what the polls are going to be like when it's time to vote. So I prefer to do it and mail it in rather than have to stand in line at a building and then be in a line of 50 or 60 people and be concerned about what kind of or if somebody has the virus. So I'm just encouraging people to use the write-in ballot, or the mail-in ballot, I should say. And that's all I had for old business. Does anyone else have any old business? No?
I have none. I have none.
Okay. Seeing none, I'll move on to new business.
I have none.
I have none.
Seeing none, I'll move on to public comment. Greg, do you have public comment for this evening?
Yes, we have so far 3 public comments. I will go through them. The first one's from Ebby Shermer. Good evening. I am your West Rockhill representative to the Penridge Community Advisory Board. I want to report that I've dropped off pamphlets, which you have on the Penridge Community Center, as well as their proposed budget for 2020. I request that the township would look through the handout and consider making their annual contribution to the Penridge Community Center, which is commonly known as the Penridge Senior Center. That is, I'm asking the township supervisors to make their annual contribution to fund our Penridge Community Center. If the supervisors have any questions, they can call me. I'll be glad to answer your questions. From Ebby Shermer.
Okay, thank you.
The next one is from Mayor Kremser. Dear Mr. Lippincott, I'm a volunteer with Fair Districts PA, nonpartisan formed by the League of Women Voters to end legislative gerrymandering in Pennsylvania. I had planned to attend your meeting along with another volunteer, Kelly Royce, who is asking the board to adopt a resolution calling for an independent citizens commission to be in charge of redistricting. If the current process remains in the 2021, the leaders of both the House and a 5th person will meet in secret without guidance or need of approval for their lines of the General Assembly or the governor. That 5th person will be nominated by a Democratic-leaning court. They use a map technology and a big data to profile voters and use that information to choose colleagues that resentful of 20 years of gerrymandering maps and are eager to turn the favor. But it's not fair. 67% of Pennsylvanians know it and want an independent commission. It undermines our democracy by allowing politicians to save politically manipulated districts to remain in their seats without being responsive to PA voters. Remain because they have little or no competition in elections. This ultimately leads to gridlock due to extreme partisanship. When the government in Harrisburg fails to function, counties and municipalities are left to fend for themselves. As a result, 23 municipalities have adopted this resolution. On April 1st, 2020, the Bucks County Commissioners will sign this resolution. These resolutions allow local leaders to show their support for impartial and transparent redistricting and sign and call all the levels of government above on them to do the same. I hope that West Rock Hill will join the 357 municipalities representing over 8.8 million Pennsylvanians that have already done so. I hope to be able to join you with your video encountering tonight to answer any questions. I'm attaching this resolution along with a list of 124 West Rock Hill residents who have signed the petition to help end the conflict that interest allows the party leaders to shape the outcomes of elections. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And
I would like to comment on this, but first, are there other? I would like to allow people to comment on this, if we could. First of all, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, hey, this is Dave Rice, 219 Augustine. As question in regards to the fields and maintenance. Grass cutting and stuff like that, we usually have a landscaping company as well as, sorry, 1 minute, Jim, and then maintenance of the fields, because if we do the maintenance of the infields, they will turn up to be like the 50-70 fields. So that's just one of my questions in regards to that. I know it's a group gathering meeting to work on the fields, but my question goes into that, because if we postpone our baseball season, we already agreed to work with the county and all that stuff with Little League. And if we start the season later and run later, the infields just are going to be crazy. So as well as the grass cutting. So I'm just curious of the opinion of the board. Thank you.
Okay, I think maintenance is still required, but we're still working on the gerrymandering issue. But I will take this up. I'll tell you what, Greg and the board needs to just discuss this quickly and get back to you on it, if that's okay. I think there are reasons like this where maintenance is required. So we will get back to you on it. Now let's get back to the letter that Greg just read. I would like to hear comments from the other board members first.
Jay Kaiser, my opinion, this is public comment. This isn't on the agenda. This is a public comment that somebody made. At this time, I don't think we need to look into this before we react at all. That's my opinion, and only mine.
Okay. Any comment, David?
David Collingwood here. Yeah, I do. We have 23 municipalities, and Bucks have already adopted this resolution, and it looks as if the county commissioners will sign this resolution by April 1st. So if we are going to if we're going to take a position on this as a board, we have to do it before April 1st. This is the meeting that we should make that decision in my mind, because we're not going to be meeting again before April 1st.
I know this was meant to be a confirmed appointment initially, but there was not a question asked at the time. That's why I was taking it now as a public comment. I agree with David that we have to do something before April 1st if we're going to do anything. In my opinion, we need an independent board to do this. Right now, as the letter stated, the Democrats have all the power. Before that, all the Republicans had all the power. And we really need an independent board that's going to give us all an equal share of voting, an equal share to vote, an equal vote.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Can I ask Mary? Jim?
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask Mary a legal opinion on this?
Yes.
Mary, you have a legal opinion on this public comment?
This is a public meeting. The board is free to act on any business that comes before it.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other comments?
There's still more public comments.
Public comment? Hi, Regina Schremeyer, Sterners Road.
Okay.
we have seen so much gridlock in Congress and so much animosity. Anything that we can do as citizens, even if it's our small, I believe we should do it. We just need to change the whole attitude of our legislature so that it makes it possible and it makes it better. It makes them willing to work together.
Okay, thank you.
Michael Schromeyer here.
Yes, Mike.
I'm all in favor of the request that we get rid of gerrymandering. I won't spend time explaining all the reasons why, but I think Regina covered it. But I'm all in favor of getting rid of gerrymandering. Thank you.
Okay. I because of the deadline before it goes to the commissioners, I think we should take a vote.
Mr. Supervisor, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I have one more public comment.
Okay.
From Kelly Royce. Dear Board of Supervisors, thank you for giving me the opportunity to ask the West Rockhill Board of Supervisors to adopt a resolution supporting an independent citizens commission for legislative and congressional redistricting. My name is Kelly Royce. I have lived in West Rockhill Township for almost 40 years. I've always been interested in fair and honest elections and believe that gerrymandering undermines the very core of our governing system. Gerrymandering gives politicians the ability to draw lines in their own legislative district and makes elections less competitive. Pennsylvania has ranked among the worst states in gerrymandering, and the data modeling now gives politicians an unprecedented ability to create districts in their favor for re-election. For this reason, I'm encouraging you to join in other municipalities in supporting the creation of the citizens commissions to draw legislative and congressional districts in the 2020 census that is already underway, and its results will be used to redistrict. A fair, transparent redistricting process based on the census is only possible if our Pennsylvania legislators amend the PA Constitution and replace the process with a citizens commission. Time is running out, and I hope the Board of Supervisors will act quickly and pass this resolution signaling your support. Kelly Royce, 324 Ridge Road, Sellersville, PA.
Okay, thank you.
That's all the email public comments I have received.
Okay. Then I will ask the board if someone would like to make a recommendation that we approve this.
Mr. Chairman, David Collingwood, I would make that motion that we adopt this resolution as it's been discussed.
Okay. Well, I will second that motion. So I will ask, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
David Collingwood, aye.
And Jay, did you say aye?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Jay. The motion passes. I can tell you that the Sellersville Borough Council adopted it last month unanimously also. So, right, thank you. Is there any other new business?
We're
in public comment. I'm in public comment. Yes. I'm sorry. I forget. Is there any other public comment, Greg?
No, there's no other public comment via email.
All right, then I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Greg, first of all, the meeting's adjourned, but we still have people on here. If anyone didn't speak up before, we would like to know who you are, just so we know you joined us on the meeting. We had up to 17 people on here at one point.
We were up to 20.
20 people? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a real good showing, and I appreciate that. The meeting is adjourned, but if anybody would like to let Greg know that you're on here, that we're just on the phone, like I said, we want to improve this next time. So, Greg, do we want to stay on here for our executive session and just have the others drop off?
Yeah, we I mean, I should probably set up a new one if we were going to do that without, because everybody has the password to get back in.
As an IT guy, I would recommend you disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
All right.
All right, gentlemen. Have a nice night.
I will set it up.
I mean,
Have a good night, guys.
Thanks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Greg,
Yes.
this is Frank Simondera. I was listening to you, so you could add my name to the list.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you,
Okay.
Frank.
Good job, guys.
John's up here as well.
Good job.
John, good. Thanks for joining, John.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to stop the recording.
All right, and I got those names.
Okay.
Thank
Greg?
you.